Hey gang, it's me, Uncle Todd here with my review of the third episode of Stranger Things. And I have realized I have been making a bad assumption. I was under the impression that the child at the beginning of episode 1 was a new character. It wasn't. It was Elle. Because in this one, she starts having flashbacks to that day. Because it coincides with her guilt over what she did to her bully. And she is thinking that she is evil, basically. And she does not belong with people. And she was thinking that Mike might not actually still care for her, but he does. And while Joyce and Murray tell them that she has a business trip to go to Alaska for, the Britannica people, well, after they leave, she gets arrested for the assault and taken to jail where she's interrogated and then is being processed to be sent to juvenile. Meanwhile, Paul Reisner's character, Sam, is visited by the government because of the murders that are starting to happen in Hawkins. And they think Elle is the one responsible. They take a bunch of stuff from his house, but the real material he had hidden. And people that still work for him, they get Elle away from juvenile. And they take her to see Sam. Now, before I explain what all that's going on, we gotta get back to Hawkins, where Nancy and Dustin and Steve and Robin and Max, they all get together after Nancy is done giving her testimony to the police, who don't believe that the serial killer from the 50s is the one responsible, that he is still locked up in the asylum. So, comparing notes, Nancy and Robin go off to look at the old newspaper files. And Steve, who wanted to go with Nancy because he still has feelings for her, very obviously, is going to go with Dustin and Max to go talk to, Max is going to go talk to the guidance counselor because, as Max puts it, if you're seeing weird stuff, you would go to your therapist, the guidance counselor. And since they're viewing Vecna as a serial killer, there would be some stalking beforehand. And Max knows that the cheerleader had seen something because she saw her crying in the bathroom and then going to see the counselor. But because the counselor, like any therapist, can't explain to someone else those things, Max uses the opportunity to talk to the counselor at her home because she lived next door to the murder, to steal her office keys. And so they're going to head over to the school. Meanwhile, in Russia, it turns out Hopper is part of the plan with the 40,000. When the guard is delivered the money from the pilot, the smuggler, who he is using to pick up the money, Hopper will be able to get on that plane to go to Alaska. Catch is, Hopper has to figure out how to escape on his own. The guard is only setting up the plane. Everything else is up to Hopper. So he bribes another inmate to use his pick, because they're basically building a railroad. That's what all the prisoners are doing. He bribes him with his food to, during their work, to hit his shackles with his pick. Or his leg, more or less, because his leg's there. And you can't, hitting the chains won't do anything. He's got to hit the hasp that holds the shackles on. And he messes up his leg pretty badly. But Hopper's tough. And when he gets back to his cell, he is able to work the shackles free. Tough guy. So, while looking through the files back in the library, Robin comes upon basically the National Enquirer type stuff, files, and she wants to go through those, which Nancy thinks will give them nothing, because that's all Elvis clones and stuff. But it turns out Robin is right, because they come upon a story in which Victor Creel, serial killer who killed people in the house, in his home, claimed a demon did it. He had had an exorcism to try and drive the demon out, and this enraged the demon so much that the demon killed his family, but punished him by leaving him alive to take the blame, basically. And of course, we have seen Vecna's house is basically the upside down version of the house in Hawkins. And he connects through that to connect to people in this reality for targets. Also, Max has found that Freddy also was seeing the counselor. And in looking through their files, they've been showing symptoms of like headaches, nightmares, and nosebleeds, the same way Max has. And Max realizes she is a prospective target of Vecna. Ironically, so is one of the basketball players who are currently hunting Eddie. And they themselves have found that Dustin is also looking for Eddie, so they're looking for Dustin. Lucas uses this opportunity while they're trying to find Dustin to sneak into his room at his house and warn him over the shortwave that the basketball team is also looking for Eddie. At this point, he also says, he tells the basketball team that he, while looking through Dustin's house because they find him, that he has found a clue to where Eddie is. And it looks like he is leading them to where Eddie is, but he may be leading them just to the main house so that he can slip out to the building out back and warn Eddie. Not sure, because we now get to the end of the episode, and Sam is telling Eleven that he has a program he thinks will return her powers to her, because what's going on in Hawkins is much worse than anything else before, and that he needs her to get her powers back to fight this thing. Now he does warn her it might not work, and if it doesn't work, she won't be able to see any of her friends again, implying it would kill her. And he also knows that he believes she's good, whether she does or not, and that it is her choice if she wants to try and get her powers back. He's not going to force her. 11 chooses to leave with him to go see if she can get her powers back. And the episode ends with Max seeing the clock and hearing Vecna the same way Freddy did. So that's where they leave it. And I thought this was a really good episode. Of course, Joyce wasn't in it very much. And Will, Mike, and Will's older brother Jonathan all feel kind of like excess baggage at this point. We're not sure exactly how they're going to fit into everything. But episode 4, we'll see about that. And I have high hopes that they will be involved in the next episode in a more constructive way. There's a lot of stuff going on, so things are bouncing back and forth. But please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you after I watch the next episode.